Gentlemen, let me ask you something directly. When you look in the mirror these days, do you recognize the man looking back? I don't mean the gray in your hair or the lines around your eyes. Those are medals of honor, earned through a life well lived. I'm talking about the light in his eyes, the confidence in his posture. Does he feel like a vital, strong man? Or does he feel like a ghost of who he once was? Perhaps you feel a growing distance between you and your partner, a silence that has nothing to do with a lack of love, but everything to do with a loss of a certain kind of connection. That physical language you once spoke so fluently now feels like a foreign tongue. Intimacy, which used to be spontaneous, now feels like it needs to be scheduled, planned, and even then, there's that quiet anxiety, that fear of failure. It feels less like making love and more like a timed mission. I want you to hear this. You are not alone. This experience does not make you less of a man. It simply means a part of your body's machinery isn't getting the right signal at the right time. And today, we're going to talk about how to fix that signal. We are going to have a frank, honest conversation about two of the most effective, medically proven tools ever developed for this exact issue: Sildenafil and Tadalafil. You know them as Viagra and Cialis, but I want you to think of them as two different keys for two different kinds of locks. And by the end of our talk, you will understand which key is right for your door. How these medications really work. The off switch explained. Before we compare them, we need to understand that for decades, men had very few reliable options. Then science delivered a breakthrough. Both sildenafil and tadalafil belong to a class of drugs called PDE5 inhibitors. Now, that sounds like complex jargon, so let's make it simple. Imagine your body has a natural off switch for an erection. This switch is an enzyme called PDE5. Its job is to end the erection after climax. For many men over 60, due to changes in circulation and nerve function, this off switch becomes a bit too sensitive. It flips off too early or prevents the system from ever fully turning on. These medications work by temporarily putting a block on that off switch. This allows the natural on signals in your body to work properly, relaxing the smooth muscles in the penis and allowing blood to flow in powerfully, creating a firm, lasting erection. But this is the crucial part you must understand. Arousal is the spark. The medication is the fuel. These are not magic pills that create desire out of thin air. You still need that moment of connection, that touch, that psychological arousal with your partner. The pill simply ensures the engine will start when you turn the key. Both medications have excellent success rates between 60 and 80%. So the debate isn't really about if they work. The real difference, the one that will impact your life, your confidence, and your relationship, is in how they operate. It's a choice between a specific tool for a specific job and a general state of readiness.
Path number 1. Sildenafil, Viagra, the special operations tool.
Let's start with sildenafil, the original blue pill. It was the first of its kind, and because of that, we have decades of data on its safety and effectiveness. I want you to think of sildenafil as a special operations tool. It's designed for a specific mission with a clear and predictable timeline. You take it about 30 to 60 minutes before you anticipate sexual activity. And here is a critical detail that many men get wrong. It works best on an empty stomach. If you have a large, high fat meal, say a wonderful steak dinner with your wife, and then take sildenafil, its absorption can be significantly delayed and its effectiveness reduced. You may be waiting much longer than an hour for it to work. Once it kicks in, it provides a window of opportunity that lasts for about 4 to 5 hours. After that, the mission is over and the tool is put away. It is what we call an on demand medication. For some men, this is perfect. It's controlled, it's predictable. But for many others, this very predictability can become a heavy psychological burden. When a fix kills the moment, let me tell you about a patient of mine. We'll call him Frank. Frank is a 68-year-old retired history teacher, a sharp, thoughtful man, and deeply in love with his wife for 45 years. When he first came to see me, he was feeling, in his own words, like an historical artifact. His primary doctor had prescribed sildenafil, and mechanically it worked. When he took it, he could perform. But he told me, with a heavy heart, that it was killing the soul of their intimacy. He said, "Doc, it's become so transactional. I look at Sarah, the moment feels right, the old spark is there. We're connecting. But then I have to press pause on that beautiful, natural moment. I have to say, okay, hold that thought. I go take a pill. We set a timer in our heads and we wait an hour. By the time the medicine is ready, the organic, spontaneous moment is gone. We're just executing a plan. There's a 4-hour countdown clock hanging over our heads, and it makes me feel like a performer, not a partner. Sarah tries to be supportive, but I can see it in her eyes. It's just not the same." Frank's story gets to the very heart of this matter. Restoring mechanical function is one thing. Restoring a feeling of wholeness, of spontaneity, is something else entirely. Path number 2, Tadalafil, Cialis, restoring the power grid to the entire city. Now let's talk about the other path, the one that changed everything for Frank. Tadalafil came to the market a few years after sildenafil. It works on the same principle, blocking that same PDE5 off switch, but its molecular structure is different. And that small difference in its design changes everything about the experience. If sildenafil is a special operations tool, I want you to think of tadalafil as restoring the power grid to the entire city. It doesn't just work for one scheduled event, it ensures the lights are ready to turn on whenever you decide to flick the switch. When taken on demand, its effects can last for up to 36 hours. 36 hours. This is why it earned the nickname the weekend pill. A man can take a pill on a Friday evening and be ready for any spontaneous moment of intimacy that arises all the way through Sunday morning. Furthermore, its absorption is not significantly affected by food. You can go out and enjoy that beautiful steak dinner with your wife, take the pill, and have confidence that it will work when the moment is right. This removes a huge layer of logistical stress and anxiety that men like Frank found so burdensome. The psychological impact of this cannot be overstated. It breaks the direct, anxiety inducing link between the act of taking a pill and the act of having sex. The pill becomes part of your background routine, not the star of the show. Frank's breakthrough, the return of spontaneity. I suggested a switch to Tadalafil for Frank. He came back to my office 3 months later, and he was a different man. The weight was gone from his shoulders. He was smiling. He leaned forward and said, "Dr. Rivera, you didn't just give me a pill. You gave me back my marriage." Last Saturday, Sarah and I were just sitting on the porch watching the sunset. No plans, no expectations. And she put her hand on mine, and I looked at her, and that old feeling was just there. And I didn't have to say, hold that thought. I didn't have to check my watch. We were just a husband and a wife again. I felt whole. That is the difference. It's the shift from a life of scheduled performance to a life of confident, spontaneous connection. The powerful 2-for-1 benefit for men over 60, ED and BPH. But Tadalafil has another, even more profound advantage, especially for men in our age group. It comes in a lower dose version, typically 2.5 or 5 milligrams, that can be taken every single day. This way, you aren't just ready for the weekend, you are ready, period. It works in the background to maintain a constant state of readiness, which for many men feels much closer to the natural function they remember from their youth. The psychological benefit of this, of simply knowing that you are able, is immense. And here is the other secret weapon. That low-dose daily Tadalafil is also an FDA-approved treatment for the frustrating urinary symptoms of an enlarged prostate or benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. Do you find yourself getting up multiple times at night to urinate? Do you have a weak stream or that nagging feeling like you can't fully empty your bladder? These are classic symptoms of BPH that affect a huge number of men over 60. For men who struggle with both ED and these urinary issues, low-dose daily Tadalafil can be a remarkable 2-for-1 solution. You take one pill each day that helps you reclaim your intimacy and improves your urinary flow and comfort, allowing you to sleep through the night again. This is an incredible quality of life improvement. Now, you don't have to just take my word for it or Frank's. The scientific evidence is compelling. A major study, what we call a meta-analysis, which combines the results of many high-quality studies to get a powerful conclusion, looked at 16 different trials that compared Sildenafil and Tadalafil head-to-head. This involved over 5,000 men. Here's what they found. In terms of pure efficacy, does it work? Both were excellent and roughly the same. No clear winner there. But when they looked at the psychological outcomes, a clear winner emerged. An overwhelming majority of both the men and their partners chose Tadalafil when asked which drug they preferred. Why? For the exact reason Frank discovered. It's the freedom from the clock, the restoration of spontaneity, the feeling of being whole again, not just functional. The only notable difference in side effects was that Tadalafil was associated with muscle aches in a small number of men, whereas Sildenafil was linked to those temporary vision changes. Critical warning: the life or death rule you must follow. Now, before you rush to call your doctor, we must have a very serious talk about safety. This is non-negotiable. There is one class of medication that you absolutely, under no circumstances, can take with either Sildenafil or Tadalafil. These are called nitrates, most commonly prescribed as nitroglycerin for chest pain or angina. This is often a tiny pill you dissolve under your tongue when you feel chest pain. Let me be unequivocally clear. Combining these ED medications with nitrates can cause a sudden, catastrophic drop in your blood pressure that can be fatal. This is not a suggestion, it is a strict medical rule. Your life depends on it. You must be completely transparent with your physician about every single medication and supplement you take. There can be other interactions, and if you have significant liver or kidney problems, your dosage may need to be adjusted. This is why you must never, ever buy these substances from a shady online source or a gas station. They can be dangerously dosed or contain ingredients you know nothing about. These are powerful prescription medications that require a doctor's supervision. There are also a couple of very rare but serious side effects to be aware of. One is priapism, an erection that lasts longer than 4 hours. This is a medical emergency that requires immediate attention to prevent permanent damage. The other is a sudden loss of hearing or vision, which is extremely rare but has been reported. What you've just learned is powerful. It's the difference between a life of planning and a life of possibility. If this clarity is what you've been looking for, if you believe in making health decisions based on facts and not fear, I invite you to subscribe to ElderCare Insights. We are here to have these honest conversations every week. Head to head, which key unlocks your door? So let's put it all on the table. How do you and your doctor choose? You might consider Sildenafil, Viagra, if your intimate life is, and you prefer it to be, a planned event. You only need assistance very infrequently. Cost is your single most important factor, as the generic version can sometimes be slightly cheaper. You might consider Tadalafil, Cialis, if spontaneity is your ultimate goal. You want to restore a natural rhythm and be ready whenever the moment is right. You want to break the psychological link between popping a pill and having sex. You also suffer from the urinary symptoms of BPH. The daily low-dose option is a game changer. You value the confidence that comes from knowing you have a 36-hour window of opportunity. Your next step is not to make this decision alone. It's to start a conversation, not just with your doctor, but perhaps with your partner. Share your feelings. Share your desire to reconnect. This journey is not just about mechanics. It's about rebuilding a bridge of intimacy. When you speak with your physician, be prepared. Talk about your lifestyle, your relationship goals, and your health history. Are you a planner, or do you crave spontaneity? Do you have BPH symptoms? This information will help you and your doctor choose the right path together. I want you to leave our conversation today with a new perspective. This is not about fixing something that is broken. You are not broken. You are a man in the prime of your wisdom, reclaiming a vital and joyful part of his life. This is about choosing the right tool to fine-tune your body's engine so it can once again match the power of your spirit. It's about deciding whether you want to live by a schedule or live in the moment. It's about choosing a future where you feel confident, connected, and completely, authentically yourself. Now that you understand your medication options, the next step is to ensure your body's foundation is as strong as possible. In our next video, we cover the 5 penis health mistakes men over 60 make, including the #1 mistake that could be a critical warning sign for your heart. Click the video on your screen now to continue empowering yourself with knowledge. Thank you for your time and your trust. Take care of yourself because you are worth it.